everybody, and welcome to another ASMR video here on the channel. Now, tonight's video is actually a bonus video. This wasn't in my schedule or in my plan to do this, but I really wanted to make a video on it, but I've already got this week's schedule sorted, so I figured I'll just upload this, I'll film this, upload this on a Sunday, but there will still be 2 videos this week, so count yourself lucky. But as you can tell, we have another movie review, and we're going to be talking about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. And yeah, before watching this, I didn't really intend on filming an ASMR video review on this movie, but unless I was completely blown away by it, so the fact you're seeing this probably gives you an indication of the kind of review I'm going to give. I'm going to, oh, that sounded really posh, didn't it? I'm gonna try and have as little cuts in it as possible. I haven't got any notes. I just want to sort of ramble about it, and I have a lovely cup of tea in my beautiful frozen mug, of course. And that is hot, and I've just burnt my esophagus. Fantastic. So yeah, I've just got back from watching the movie for a second time. It is currently Thursday. I watched it for the first time last Friday or Saturday, whatever day it came out. And I was going to film a review after my first time on watching, but, you know, there's often recency bias, new film bias. So I thought I'd let it sit for a few days, go and watch it again, as often, particularly with MCU movies. You go back and watch it a second time, and you realise, okay, it wasn't as good as I first thought. Wakanda Forever was the complete opposite for me. I actually enjoyed it more the second time round, which I never really understand why it's possible, because you know what's coming up, but you're just so excited for those things to come up. Yeah, so I'll just start the proper review portion by saying I think this movie is fantastic. I think it is that absolutely fantastic. Is it a perfect movie? Absolutely not, but is it brilliant? Yes. Yes, it is. Rather than doing pros and like negatives, I'm just going to sort of go through each sort of aspect of the movie and talk about what I liked and what I didn't like, although to be honest, there aren't too many things that I didn't like, to be honest, because I really thought this was fantastic. One thing I'm not going to do in this video, well, 2 things. One, I'm going to really try and not speak too quickly, because a few of you do call me out on it, and I do apologise. It's often when I get excited, so I am going to make a real conscious effort to at least speak at a normal, if not slightly slower pace. And also what I don't want to do is place it in Phase 4, compare it to other Phase 4 movies and projects, because in 2 or 3 weeks time I'm doing a dedicated Phase 4 ranking video, so keep your eyes peeled for that, MCU fans. My trim is absolutely diabolical this evening, but it's because it's like 11:30 at night and it was raining and everything, but I just literally turned the camera and mic laptop on and started recording and made this a lovely decaf cup of tea. But anyways, I think just to briefly give it as a statement within Phase 4, I guess to say, I think it is 100% a top 3 Phase 4 project, potentially top 2. this film is absolutely fantastic. I think what this film's main strength is it explores the sort of deeper, more serious emotions. You've got loss, grief, lack of belief. Like, it deals with all of these things, but it's not like a lot of MCU movies are sort of light-hearted, with serious moments shoehorned in. No, this was the complete opposite. The more serious tones were the key driver of the story and the key driver of the main character arcs in this film. And honestly, it was refreshing. I love Thor Ragnarok. That's my favourite MCU movie because it is light-hearted and jokey and whatnot. Thor Love and Thunder, another Phase 4 project, went too far the other way, too far the way of jokes. It's hard to believe that Thor Love and Thunder is in the same phase a few movies apart as Wakanda Forever, because they are very different in tone. But there are still some funny moments, like some laugh out loud moments, and I think moving forward, obviously not every Marvel movie is gonna have this level of grief and of loss. Obviously, with the tragic death of Chadwick Boseman, and within the context of the film, the character of T'Challa, of course, it's very rare that this will happen around a movie, but I think going forward I would like the MCU to tone down the jokes a little bit. After watching that, I actually have even higher hopes for Ant-Man 3, which previously have been quite, jokey and light-hearted, but I really think Quantumania will get a little bit sort of deeper, but we'll see. So yeah, just having those deeper, more serious emotions driving the story is what really made the movie so compelling. I mean, you've got both your protagonist in Shuri and antagonist in Namor, who were both so damaged that you just empathise with both of them. There are so many characters to sort of empathise with in this, and that sort of leads me into, I guess, nicely segues into the section of characters and acting. You empathise with these characters so much because the acting and the script is fantastic. I can't really think of anyone who gives a bad performance. Letitia Wright is fantastic in this movie. I actually kind of hated Shuri in Black Panther and even Infinity War. I know it's her character, but she was just kind of annoying. But she's almost a completely different character in this movie, as you would be losing your brother and whatnot. But her story in this film is one of the main strengths of the movie. But Letitia Wright, there are some fantastic acting moments in here. Angela Bassett, every time she speaks as Queen Ramonda, you just want to be quiet and listen to what she's saying. And then Lupita Nyong'o does a great job. Denai Guerrera had a really great scene where she got to show up her acting abilities. I think, speaking about characters, it can bring me into my first negative, and really it's my main negative. So, Martin Freeman's character Everett Ross is in this. It's not too much of a spoiler, and he didn't need to be. He serves a purpose in the first act, helping Shuri and Okoye. But after that, there's like 3 or so scenes where he pops up and he's with Val. Again, not too much of a spoiler that she's in it. She's a minor character. But there were some parts of the movie where we were getting emotional, we were getting deep. And then we got out of Wakanda and went to America. And it just sort of took me out of the film a little bit. I don't know if any of you guys guys felt the same, but they really were not needed whatsoever. A film that is 2 hours 40 minutes, for the most part, I think it justifies being that long, but all of those scenes could have been cut, to be completely honest, and we could have had it in under 2.5 hours, which I think would have made it so much stronger. I didn't have an issue with the runtime, to be completely honest. With quite a lot of films, sometimes I find emotional monologues overdone, and I'm just kind of left thinking, hurry up, let's move on. But with this movie, I didn't feel like that at all. I felt like the honest conversations they were having sort of fed into the story and drove the story forward, and maybe it was the acting, maybe it was the script, but I didn't once feel bored or was wanting the movie to move on or cut scene, as it were. So really, sorry Martin Freeman, I love you in Nativity, but you didn't really need to be in this film. And I guess I'm also on the note of characters. Winston Duke's character, Mbaku, of course. In the first Black Panther movie, he's sort of a bit of a side character who throughout the movie comes to play a bit more of an important role. So my thinking was, in the sequel, surely he would, keep an important role and be more at the forefront, but really, he does have a few serious moments, but he's sort of just the comic relief in this movie, and we don't really spend too much time with him. That's maybe one of my other negatives, but that's being picky because there are quite a lot of characters in this. So maybe it's harsh to want the movie to be able to spend time with all of them. But I just love Mbaku as a character, and I hope he gets a Disney Plus show. Not that everybody should, but he would be one I would definitely be interested in seeing more of. Now, the final character we've got to talk about is Namor. I sort of have a bit of a not a saying, that's not the right word, that makes me sound philosophical, but I sort of think a Marvel movie is only as good as its villain, which is true, and well, I think it is just true, period. And Black Panther 2 has an incredible one in Namor. They spend just the right amount of time giving his backstory and slowly revealing his powers, and his fight scenes are incredible. Like, so good. I forget the actor's name, which is really, really bad, but he did a fantastic job, and I really just hope we see more of Namor, whether it be a prequel or whatnot. Maybe not another Disney Plus series, because I do kind of resent so many characters getting Disney Plus series, but Namor was a fantastic... He is a villain, but he's kind of not. Like, you do kind of see a little bit where he's coming from. So yeah, absolutely loved him. Him and Shuri have some fantastic scenes together. By the way, there will be a more spoiler-heavy talk at the end, but for now we're going to keep things spoiler-free. And the final character that comes to my mind is Riri Williams. Honestly, I think just a pretty solid introduction to a new character. I'm now pretty interested in a Disney Plus series. I feel like I keep saying this. Yeah, she had some funny lines. She was pretty cool. I wasn't too much of a fan of her, like the suit she gets later in the movie, but not to the extent that I could rant about this for ages, about the toxicity of TikTok, but so many people on TikTok they just copy and paste the same, like, hate comments like, oh, it looks like a Power Ranger, or the MCU's done, like, based on this screenshot of this thing. Like, it's not even that bad, and people on TikTok in the comments just copy and paste the same things for the sake of some likes, but it just breeds like unnecessary and untrue negativity, in my opinion. And that's why, like, days before I go and watch an MCU movie, I just mute every potential hashtag, or I just don't go on TikTok, because I don't want anything like influencing my thoughts and feelings going into it. So yeah, Riri Williams, she was pretty cool. Like I say, there are quite a lot of characters in this, so it's difficult to give enough time to everyone. But I think the movie managed it pretty well, to be honest. Let's move on to. So I've sort of spoken about the plot and the themes and the characters, the acting. Let's get it out of the way. Let's talk about my favourite aspect of this movie, the score and soundtrack. To me, score and soundtrack play such a huge influence in how much I like a film. It could be a bang average film with an incredible score, and I will probably love it. Like, pretty much all of my favourite films have incredible soundtracks and scores. Like, Interstellar is my favourite movie of all time. You've got The Gentleman, which I love. Like, Inception, beautiful Hans Zimmer score. I just love Hans Zimmer, really. But Ludwig Göransson does not miss. This guy is an absolute genius. He did The Mandalorian, that iconic but the score in this is just absolutely fantastic. There's one piece of music which I've already downloaded on Spotify. It's Shuri's new theme. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, but when that kicks in, oh my gosh, it's like more electronic than the traditional sort of Black Panther score we've had in the past. Because obviously Shuri throws herself into her deck. It was just like, it gave me chills, and watching it for a second time, it just got me hyped, even though I've been listening to it all week. Hearing it on the big screen was just incredible. So yeah, Ludwig, I'm calling you by your first name like you're watching, but he truly did an incredible job with the score. And then the soundtrack in this is just perfectly chosen. It was the same in the first movie, and it's the same in the second. There's one track in particular that, I don't know about you, is all over my TikTok in a minute, but for good reason. It's from the scene with Namor and Shuri. It's just a beautiful, like, South American song. Just fantastic, to be honest. It was probably one of my favourite elements of the movie. Another thing we can talk about is the pacing. I think I sort of touched on this already, but I think the pacing overall is pretty good. Like I said, there are some things that can be cut, some things that can probably be shortened. I think really my main issue with the pacing is there's a lot of fantastic build up to the final act, to the final battle, and in my mind it's probably just a little bit too short. I think we could have maybe cut down a few of the conversations by just a few lines here and there, and we'd have had an extra couple of minutes for the final battle. Don't get me wrong, like, what we got was really good, but I don't know if it's just me, but I felt like it was sort of over in a flash. So that is really my only other criticism of this movie. Yeah, final battle just a little bit too quick for my liking. And I think the final thing I want to talk about is the CGI, and speaking about this will kind of lead me into talking about whether I think it's better than Black Panther 1, and what I'm gonna say is probably gonna, like, this is brilliant. It is borderline like some of the best we've seen in the MCU. Especially, well, I say especially as of late, but like Multiverse of Madness had some incredible CGI in it. But apart from the eye thing, which just looked so terrible. But yeah, the CG in this was just very convincing. I think the all of the underwater stuff looked great. There was some parts that like looked a little strange, but for the most part, obviously, it's just such a difficult thing to do with the underwater thing. So I'm not gonna focus on that too much. But yeah, CGI really good, and so much better than Black Panther 1. So this leads me on to, is Wakanda Forever better than Black Panther #1? And my answer is absolutely, it is. This is sort of probably my hottest MCU take. I actually don't think Black Panther 1 is a good movie. Of course, Black Panther has some fantastic elements to it, the costume design, which I should probably say Wakanda Forever, once again, flawless. Costume design, obviously there are some, of course, like good story lines in it, but I still think the best Black Panther action we've got, and the best Black Panther we've had, is in Civil War. One of my main gripes with the Black Panther film is the CGI is horrible. It is so bad. It makes me laugh. People moan about how the Phase 4 is apparently rushed and the CGI looks terrible. Don't get me wrong, She-Hulk was an absolute monstrosity. I've been trying desperately to try and etch that series from my brain. But people say that like the MCU hadn't already put out projects with bad CG before, and Black Panther is probably the best example of that. It is, like, some parts are jokingly bad. The final scene between T'Challa and Killmonger, it borderline looks like the cutscene of a video game. If you go back and watch it, you'll know what I mean. It just looks awful. And for me, if you're gonna have a movie with CGI, it does have to be on point, because otherwise it just takes me out of it completely, and it did in Black Panther. Another gripe I have with the movie is why does it waste so much time with T'Challa being dead? Like, there's no stakes, there's no feeling emotional or sad or worried that he is actually dead, because it's his origin story. We know he's going to be in Infinity War. Why are we spending this like 15-20 minutes like thinking, oh, he's dead, when quite obviously he's not going to be dead? Obviously Killmonger is probably the standout thing for me from that film, and don't get me wrong, it's not a bad film. It's just I don't like it. Like, nothing compels me to go back and rewatch that movie, to be completely honest, and that's why it is quite far down on my MCU tier list, to be honest. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Black Panther 1. So I think Wakanda Forever is far superior than the first one, in my opinion. But there we go. Let me know what you think down below. I can't remember if how long ago I did my MCU tier list and where I put Black Panther, because that's the thing, it's always changing. But I've sort of just come to this revelation over the last like however many months, like that, because I think I rewatched it. It was just on telly, and I was like, "Wow, this is bad." But there we go. So overall, I loved Wakanda Forever. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd, so I think 8 out of 10 is probably fair. It could maybe push an 8.5, but I think 8 out of 10 is probably fair. And look, that's a really good score. And like I said, I think it is comfortably top 3 MCU projects for Phase 4. But we'll obviously talk a little bit So, to summarise, looked beautiful, great plot exploring some great themes, amazing acting, score was sublime, soundtrack fantastic, just maybe a little bit long. Get rid of Everett Ross and all of that rubbish, and give us a bit more of a final battle. But yeah, I think that's honestly gonna do it for this video. I was gonna do a spoiler sort of talk, but to be honest, I don't really feel the need to. I don't think reviews you really need to talk about spoilers to be completely honest. So I think we will just simply leave it at that. But please, everybody, do let me know your thoughts and your reviews down below in the comments, and of course remember to be respectful of everybody's opinions. Like, to you, Black Panther might be your favourite MCU movie. Like, I can't argue with that because it's your opinion and you might have completely valid arguments. People might hate Ragnarok, I love Ragnarok, but we will leave it at that. So yeah, let me know what you think down below. Am I an idiot? You tell me, but in a nice way. I think let's keep this nice little community we've got here nice and positive and uplifting. But yeah, that is gonna do it for tonight's video. I of course will see you tomorrow night for another one. You are so lucky. Anyways, if you did enjoy this video, then please do give